Welcome back to the Star Trek Critic, where we degrade and take away points from each Star Trek episode as if we know everything there is in producing a TV show. Today's episode is Cat's Paw, when in short is a Star Trek Halloween. The landing party is late in responding, and ironically, whenever I take screenshots, Spock usually has his eyes closed. All through this show they have trouble contacting the surface and counting life forms, but due to the nature of the inhabitants' technology, you can't ding them for it. They discover something is wrong, but only Jackson wants to beam up. The first point is lost here, since there is no cut in the carpet by the turbolift. When that thing starts moving, there's going to be a problem. Eventually I'll also have to take a point since there's only one set of doors on the turbolift. Jackson is played by Jay Jones, who is a stuntman. Even though McCoy says he's dead, you can see him move a little bit. But since Koloth is talking through him, that could be what's making him move, so I can't take a point here. According to the stardate, this episode takes place less than a week after the menagerie and about a week before shore leave, so it fits snugly in, which means I can take a point. But you do lose a point for the captain and first officer beaming down together, and another point is lost since he didn't beam down with a security detail, like with the Sal in charge. Spock is surprised by fog, and right now the tricorder is working and they can communicate with the Enterprise. For a brief time the Enterprise can see and talk to them, but it ends fast. The fog is getting thicker.
And Leon is getting larger.
The next point is lost since the three witch heads floating around are wearing black sweaters. But Spock has only one concern about them, and Kirk's not too impressed with that. Of course, you can say that the three witches blew Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. Yes! And now as the fog clears, you can see the castle. The next point is lost in not sending for a shuttle, since they keep losing contact. Now they meet the most dangerous alien in the galaxy. This is where Dr. McCoy says, yes, it is a Star Trek Halloween after all.
Essentially, a Hindu Halloween.
Back on the Enterprise, Chekhov loses contact with the ground crew. Uhura says that's what happened before. Desal says they need to find them. Chekhov does the new guy cry, and I have to take a point here since Desal did not order a rescue shuttlecraft with an armed search party to go look for them. Check this out. Even 300 years in the future, cats will still knock things off ledges. And this time, it's people. Now they're in the dungeon. Kirk is so confused, he talks to the skeleton. They quickly conclude that somebody is tapping into their fears, which means I will have to take a point here, since no one has nightmares of a classroom skeleton. Scotty and Sulu don't say much in this episode. Are actors paid less if they don't speak? Here's a shot of all five. We'll call the skeleton on the right Jackson. Even chained to the wall, McCoy still performs his duty as ship's physician. Sulu has the key. All this time, you thought it was the dog. Sulu releases them and they magically appear in the main hall. Were they transported, or is everything just an illusion? We will never know. Korob introduces himself and says, "My planet, my rules." Kirk is not amused and attacks him with the magic words, "Mumbo Jumbo." Spock says, "You aren't local, are you?" And Korob is like, "Who cares?" Sylvia says to lure them in with treats. "How much do you want to bet I get a copyright claim showing a video of the cat?" Trelane tried the same thing in the Squire of Gothos, but it didn't work. It didn't work here either. Now Korob tries to bribe them with jewels. Looks like he won over the old country doctor. Korob says, "Take the jewels and go." Kirk might be bluffing about the skill of the ship's replicator, and it turns out Korob's views of Earth are also as outdated as what Trelane saw in the Squire of Gothos, which could actually be a common issue with deep space travel. It's not often Spock says, "We'll leave when we feel like leaving." Look, it even took Korob by surprise. He tries to one-up Spock, saying it was all just a test. It looks like Sylvia has to go out and chase a bird. They're like, "Sylvia, you've changed." Sylvia shows her magic tool in controlling the boys. This phrase can mean so many different things. Kirk gets Scotty's phaser, but later on it doesn't work. It's possible that it doesn't work here too, but he didn't try it. Sylvia sees this as an opportunity to show off her new Christmas decoration. Actually, it's called product placement. Pick up that phone and place your order now. After all, this show aired in October, and it will show up on your doorstep just in time for Christmas. This is commonly known as mind probing. So, back on the Enterprise, it's hot. I will have to take a point for Chekhov using Fahrenheit, because if that was Celsius, they would all be dead right now. That's what she said. Kirk gives in, the temperature goes down, and they lose contact again. Korob likes to share information, but it's truly Sylvia who wears the pants in this family. You know Kirk is pissed when he poses like Peter Pan. Korob and Sylvia go back and forth on whether they want Kirk to leave or stay and just mess with the crew. But they are aliens experiencing human life forms for the first time, so that might be what's causing the problem. And now here is more product placement, just in time for Christmas. So what kind of information are they trying to get from Kirk and the crew? They never really explain that clearly, so -1 point. It might be medical information since they start with the doctor. Up on the Enterprise they try to shake free of the force field. This is DeSalle's third and final appearance on the Enterprise, and he gets to sit in the captain's chair, and he shows he knows what he's doing. Kirk looks like he's holding in a fart, and Spock tells him just how long it was that he held it in. Spock really doesn't have an internal clock like that. He learned a long time ago it's just a logical thing to do to make these things up, since Kirk always believes him. They make good use of this time hanging around to discuss what to do next. That's what Maxwell Smart said. McCoy comes back as a zombie and now it's Kirk's turn. Here we watch Korob and Sylvia argue like they've been married for 1,000 years. And maybe they have been. We will never find out. And that is what she said this time. Sylvia sends Korob away. He's not done fighting, but then Sylvia insults him, and now he gives her puppy eyes. Aww. What now? That's what I was thinking. Let's find out. She is woman. Are we going to hear her roar soon? Kirk and Sylvia try to out-seduce each other. Wow, she's really getting personal now. What does she have in mind? Sylvia does a fashion show, and you know Kirk likes it because he poses like Peter Pan again. Did she turn into a Kirk too? That's just creepy. That's what it's called on their planet. Obviously they didn't get the memo about social distancing. Kirk wins this battle. Of course, he has made a career out of manipulating women like this, but it really didn't get him anywhere. She's pissed now. Korob is tired of the game and frees Kirk and Spock. He says he released the Enterprise at the same time the crew found the dent. Sylvia's up to something. So the transmuter has limits after all, and there's no way they could have come from another galaxy, so -1 point. And it turns out we are going to hear Sylvia roar after all. Here's where he learns the phaser doesn't work. How did they find a cat that big? Look at that shadow. I'd run too if I were them. The only way to escape the cat is to go back up the hole that it pushed them down. And I will have to take a point here, since when Sylvia the cat pushes the door on Korob, he's on his side, but when Kirk gets to him, he's on his back. Here's where Kirk gets a hold of the transmuter, and why is that skeleton peeking around the corner? Spock looks like he's sitting on the edge of a swimming pool here. Kirk passes the baton. Now comes the network-mandated once-per-episode fistfight. This time Kirk and Spock fight Zombie McCoy, Zombie Scotty, and Zombie Sulu. His neck is gonna hurt when he wakes up. Here you learn to scare away a giant cat with a ball on a stick. Sylvia transports Kirk to the big hall, and now comes the standoff between them. They both like to shout insults at each other, and they go on at it for quite a while. She pulls out a phaser claiming it works. Kirk says, "I'm tired of this shit," and smashes the transmuter. And the entire castle is gone. 1 point is lost since they don't look around for evidence of the power source. The last point is lost since you can see the strings on the puppets. They don't try to bring the bodies aboard, but it looks like they're going to disintegrate anyways. And there they go, off for another adventure. So who inhabited this haunted castle? This is the third and final time you see Michael Barrier as DeSalle, and he ended with a seat in the captain's chair. Antoinette Bauer was born in Germany in 1932, was a disc jockey for a Canadian radio station, then got 80 screen credits, including the TV show Neon Rider. Theodore Marsus served aboard a Navy submarine in World War II and earned the Silver Star, then got 80 screen credits to his name, usually portraying the villain. Unfortunately, less than a month after Cat's Paw aired on television, a car accident ended his life. And Cat's Paw, the Star Trek Halloween show, gets a score of 90%. Yes! Although I believe Sylvia wanted a higher score. Thanks for visiting. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists. Click that like button, the share button, and that subscribe button, and I will see you again real soon.